A very good morning, my dear Silent Rose family. On this very special morning, I wanted to bring to your contemplation the difference between need and want. A need is something that is absolutely necessary for us to survive and live. A want is something that can possibly enhance or improve our current quality of life. We can look at a simple example. Man being the social being it is, we love to speak, we love to communicate. And most times it is through this need to communicate that we express our love and affection towards each other. Which is why God has given us our beautiful voices to speak and communicate with each other, to fulfill that need, to give and receive love from each other through our gift of speech. Eventually, there came to be times where we may not necessarily always be in the same vicinity as our loved ones, but still there is that need to communicate to each other. And so, to make things easier, phones came into the picture. If we think about it, there were land phones, and then there were the period of Nokia phones, all of which served the purpose of fulfilling our need to communicate with each other. But eventually came smartphones. Now, what's so different about smartphones compared to our regular phones? It comes with all these apps and facilities and touchscreen and you name it. Everything which makes our life a lot simpler and easier. And that's what draws all of our attention towards the want for a smartphone. The more we pursued this want, the more we became addicted to this want of being with our smartphones anytime and everywhere. In some cases, this want, which is supposed to make communication a lot easier, has in fact just created more distance between loved ones. Let me make a quick clarification here. I'm not saying that smartphones are absolutely not good for you. All I'm saying is that anything in moderation is good for you. But when the want or the desire becomes the center of your life, that is when it ruins the beautiful gifts that God has placed in your life. While we use the smartphone for our many needs, which can be speaking to somebody, a dear one, who is miles away, or maybe watching YouTube videos or reading articles to edify yourself, or even simply to listen to music or play games just to unwind and relax. All of this is fine, but it shouldn't be at the expense of neglecting the fundamental need that God has placed within all of us, which is to be there and support and love the near and dear ones around you. Many times, dear friends, we think that we know what we want. But this is where I'm going to stop you for a second and remind you that God knows exactly what we need. And while that particular thing looks very different from what we think we want, one thing I can guarantee you: God always gives you everything you need only to prosper and to bless you. And so, before I leave you for the day, dear friends, all I wish to say through this reflection is that our wants are not bad. Fundamentally, they come from the desire for the good things that God has placed in our life. But what we need to teach ourselves is to want the very things that God knows we need for our life. As we read in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Have a wonderful, blessed day, dear friends. God bless.